Jackson Radio Show.
Greetings and salutations. You are tuning into the Kevin Jackson Radio Show. My name is Brett Segal. I always fill in for Kevin Jackson on Friday. I always broadcast to you live from my safe space down here in northern Florida, where I am always free from your bigotry, racism, hatred, microaggressions, and patriarchy. And today we are talking about stand your ground laws with Marcus Weldon, the Santa Claus shooter. Kindly and lovingly dubbed the Santa Claus shooter because he was wearing a Santa Claus outfit when he was forced to defend himself and one of his friends. Thanks for joining us, Marcus.
Thanks, Brian, for having me.
Let's talk a little bit about the sort of atmosphere that led to some of the controversy surrounding your case. The certain people, the other side, the other side wants to paint you sort of as this trigger-happy guy that's just rolling around, just looking around, waiting for somebody to shoot, and that couldn't be farther from the truth. Let's talk about the sort of atmosphere going on that has led to some of the controversy.
Yeah. Well, I had my CPL carrying permit for 7 years and never used it prior to this incident. So for me to all of a sudden want to just become trigger-happy is kind of crazy. Secondly, there were witnesses that disappeared. Of course, the firearm was not found and at the scene. And later on, we found that the police officers didn't even check the scene at all. So it was a lot of holes in the evidence that in the story today. I didn't make a statement, by the way, in the beginning, which I was always told by my legal counsel not to. So they were going off of one side of the story. Both guys. Well, one guy didn't make a statement at all, but the other one did. He said that his partner was just trying to get into the car and leave, which clearly was, once the video was released, did not show someone getting in the car and leave. It was trying to leave at all. The clerk also made a 911 call that was saying that he said it was a fight and one guy had a gun, the other guy went and got his gun, and it was a shootout. And then he also made a written statement saying that it was 2 shots fired from the direction of the guy of Arabic descent towards the guy in the Santa suit, and the Santa shot about 3 or 4 shots. So you would think this would be cut and dry, but unfortunately, the clerk disappeared, and the first guy who was shot, he disappeared. He went back to his country, Yemen. And the other guy who was hit in the arm, he stayed and got his testimony pretty much just was destroyed once he got caught up in so many lies.
What did he say? What was a part of his testimony? Like, what were some of the lies that he told?
One, he said that he was didn't drink, which was a lie. We both of them were drinking. He said he didn't smoke any weed. That was a lie. He said his partner was trying to get in the car. Once the video was released, it showed his partner was obviously not trying to get in the car. And he said his partner wasn't reaching. Oh, his first statement, that he wrote down to the police officer was that his partner was reaching to get a baseball bat. And then he changed it and said, no, he just said that because he was in pain. His partner was just trying to get in the car and leave. So it went from trying to get a baseball bat to trying to leave. And then once the video was released, it was obvious that his partner was not trying to leave. He was trying to escalate the situation by grabbing something from under the seat and was coming back towards me. And also his hand was pointed in my direction. Unfortunately, the camera is not the greatest of video footage. It's one of those old grainy type gas station cameras. So it's hard to identify what was in his hand, but his hand was definitely pointed towards me.
He was definitely making threats with his body. His body language was extremely threatening, and it was one of those situations where it was pretty cut and dry, and for you to not act, it would have been, it would have been a flagrant denial of your own self-defense.
Correct. You got a couple seconds to think in this situation. You don't want to wait to be shot before you actually shoot. So, and of course, by the clerk not showing up, they tried to make that evidence hearsay and wouldn't allow me to use the evidence. But I was able to get the officer who interviewed the clerk to take the stand, and that helped me out a lot.
Now you have gotten criticized, and you have also gotten support. Can you tell us where, in general, where has the criticism come from, and where has the support come from?
Well, the criticism comes from majority of the people from the left. I mean, the pro-gun guys. I ended up having this culture shock I describe in my book, where I realized that once you have a firearm, you are now in this space where you are always going to be considered the bad guy with the gun. it's going to be a situation when you use a firearm. I've heard stories where people shot someone because someone was inside their house and was trying to rob them or do something to them. And there's always the pushback on the family and sometimes on the news saying, well, you didn't have to shoot him. And it's like, well, what the heck was he supposed to do?
And what does he have to do in order to deserve a bullet?
Yeah.
Like, how far does it have to go? Does he have to literally be inside one of your children or your wife? How far does it have to go in order for this person to deserve a bullet? How threatening does one person have to be in order to deserve the self-defense of, the self-defense that's guaranteed by the Constitution?
Exactly. So majority of my support, and I will admit, I did get a lot of support from my family, church, which is my pastor backed me up a lot. And a lot of people, when they hear that, they say, wow, a pastor backing up a self-defense case with a firearm? That's unusual. But my pastor did back me up, and he felt that he's actually considered, I guess you can call it, a pro-gun pastor.
Right.
So, I got a lot of families, coworkers and stuff, but the majority of my support towards the end of my case came from Second Amendment advocates. Right. And some from Dallas, Texas. C.J. Grisham from Open Carry, Texas was one of them. I mean, I got a lot of guys. Ken Blanchard, Black Man with a Gun. I got a lot of different guys that kind of supported me and rallied behind me towards the end of my case.
Right. And let's just be clear. These are the people who the leftists want to claim are just trying to arm white guys so that they can go around indiscriminately shooting black guys. Now, just so we're clear, you're black, right?
I'm black.
Okay. Well, let's just get, sort of do away with the whole entire, Second Amendment gun nuts are just a bunch of racist, crazy people who just want to go around disarming black people and arming the white people. And I mean, to me, this is one of those cases where it sort of sheds a light on one of the holes in all these like leftist anti-gun, anti-gun position.
Yeah. And that's where I wanted to bring that awareness to in my book, because I wanted to let people know that in a state of uncertainty, in a state of when I was desperate and in need and I was looking for help, people who look nothing like me came and supported me, and it just changed my whole outlook on this whole gun debate thing. And as far as who's racist, and the Second Amendment was for this class of people and not this class of people. Now, there are people out here that are trying to disarm, I believe, a lot of minorities in a lot of these poverty areas, because we don't, first of all, I'm from Detroit, and a lot of people in Detroit don't know any better. We just kind of vote and don't really pay attention to the candidate on their stance on guns, even though people in Detroit carry guns. Right. Legally, too. You know what I mean? It's not just something where everybody's running around illegally carrying guns. But the left does not. I know this for a fact now, because I just today recently resubmitted my paperwork to get my license back. And this case has been over since 2016. They have constantly stopped me from getting my gun license and my firearm back.
And, of course, the leftists never cease to disgust me and prove themselves hypocrites. You are listening to the Kevin Jackson Radio Show. We are here with Marcus Weldon. We will be right back with some more. You can get me at Shack General. That's at Shack General. We'll be right back.
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.